Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at
Okay.
the USDA's plan to overhaul its HR and payroll system with a program called NFC Forward. So, NFC Forward, we're talking 680,000 federal employees
Wow.
across 170 agencies,
That's a lot.
all depending on a system that's been running for about 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably thinking what I was thinking. Time for an upgrade, right?
It's incredible the scope of this modernization effort. I mean, we're not just talking about swapping out a few computers here.
Right.
This is transforming how the National Finance Center, or NFC, processes payroll, manages benefits, and basically handles all the behind-the-scenes HR work
Okay.
for a huge chunk of the federal workforce.
So paint me a picture. What's the current situation like, and why is this modernization so crucial?
So imagine a system built on COBOL, a programming language that was
Yeah.
all the rage back in the 70s. Not exactly cutting-edge tech in today's world. This aging system poses several challenges for the USDA. First, there are obvious security risks with outdated technology.
Yeah.
It's like trying to protect a fortress with crumbling walls and rusty cannons.
Yikes, that doesn't sound good. And besides security, what other issues are they facing?
Well, efficiency is a big one. A system that's been cobbled together over decades
Right.
can be a real nightmare to manage. Think about all the manual processes and workarounds that have probably accumulated over the years.
Yeah.
That's not only time-consuming,
Mhm.
it's also prone to errors. And then there's the user experience for employees.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to navigate your benefits or update your personal information on a system designed when disco was king?
I can't even imagine. I get frustrated enough when my favorite app gets a clunky update. So
Yeah.
they're basically trying to take this dinosaur of a system and bring it into the 21st century.
Exactly. And they're not just aiming for a simple facelift, they want a complete transformation. Their vision with NFC Forward is to create a secure, efficient, and user-friendly system that meets the needs of today's workforce.
Okay, so let's dive into the details. What exactly does this vision entail?
So the USDA is aiming for a complete overhaul, migrating everything to a cloud-based system that integrates HR and payroll functions. A significant departure from their current setup. And it's not just about replacing outdated technology. They're also looking to incorporate AI and advanced analytics
Yeah.
to streamline processes, gain insights from data, and ultimately create a more strategic and data-driven approach to HR.
It's a big leap. Going from COBOL to cloud and AI is like trading in a horse-drawn carriage for a Tesla. So how are they planning to make this ambitious transition happen?
Well, they're not going it alone. The USDA is seeking a partner from the private sector
Right.
to design, build, and implement this new system. They've released a request for information, or RFI, to gather input from potential vendors and outline their requirements. And let me tell you, they are not messing around.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of federal employees, plus sensitive government data, I imagine the stakes are pretty high.
Absolutely. The RFI lays out some pretty stringent requirements for any potential vendor. For starters, the new system must be FedRAMP authorized.
FedRAMP authorized.
Now, FedRAMP might sound like just another government acronym, but it's actually a big deal. It's a rigorous cybersecurity framework that sets the bar for cloud security in the federal government,
Okay.
basically. It's like getting a seal of approval from the cybersecurity elite.
So no shortcuts on security, which makes sense. What other must-haves are they looking for?
Well, unsurprisingly, they want a true cloud-based solution.
Okay.
This isn't just about sticking a server in a data center somewhere and calling it a day. They're looking for a system that can leverage the full power and flexibility of the cloud,
Yeah.
offering scalability, resilience, and the ability to adapt to future needs.
It sounds like they've got a pretty clear vision of what they want.
They do.
But with a project this massive, I imagine there are also a lot of tough decisions and potential pitfalls.
Absolutely. The RFI highlights some intriguing dilemmas, particularly when it comes to the system's architecture.
Okay.
They're wrestling with the question of multi-tenancy versus single instance, a choice that sounds technical, but has significant implications for how different agencies will access and manage their data.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me. What's the difference between multi-tenancy and single instance? And why does it matter?
So in a multi-tenant system, you have multiple agencies sharing the same infrastructure and application, but their data is segregated and isolated.
Okay.
It's kind of like living in a large apartment building. Everyone shares the building's amenities, but they have their own private apartments. A single instance system, on the other hand, is like a giant mansion
But
where everyone lives under the same roof
Yeah.
and shares everything.
So with multi-tenancy, each agency has its own space.
Right.
But with a single instance, it's more like a big communal setup.
That's exactly it.
What are the pros and cons of each approach?
So multi-tenancy offers advantages in terms of cost efficiency and scalability,
Yes.
but it can raise concerns about data security and customization. With a single instance, you have more control and potentially tighter security, but it can be more complex and expensive to manage. The USDA needs to carefully weigh these trade-offs and choose the architecture that best aligns with their priorities and risk tolerance.
It sounds like a tough call,
It is.
especially when you're dealing with 170 different agencies,
Yeah.
each with their own needs and sensitivities.
Precisely.
And that's just one of the many challenges they'll face. There's also the question of how to manage the phased rollout of the new system across multiple agencies, each with their own timelines and budget constraints. It's a logistical puzzle with a lot of moving pieces. So we've got a sense of the big picture, a massive modernization effort, a search for the perfect partner, and some tricky technical and logistical hurdles to overcome.
But how does a company even begin to position itself for success in a competition like this? Well, that's where understanding the key priorities of the USDA becomes crucial. Companies like BidExec specialize in helping businesses navigate the complexities of government procurement. They can analyze the RFI, identify the USDA's key priorities, and develop a winning capture strategy.
So it's about more than just submitting a proposal and hoping for the best. It's about understanding the landscape and playing the game strategically.
Precisely. Companies that invest time and effort up front to understand the USDA's needs and tailor their solutions accordingly have a much higher chance of success.
Thinking about opportunities only after the RFP is released is a losing proposition. You need to be proactive and strategic from the very beginning.
It sounds like having a guide like BidExec can make all the difference in a competition this intense.
You really can.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we dive into the strategies for winning this contract, I think we need to understand the USDA's vision in more detail. You're absolutely right. Understanding the details of what they want to achieve with NFC Forward will be key to crafting a successful proposal. Welcome back to the deep dive. Before we went to the break, we were talking about the importance of understanding the USDA's key priorities for NFC Forward.
And how companies like BidExec can help potential vendors develop a winning capture strategy by understanding those priorities before the RFP even drops.
Exactly. Thinking about opportunities after the RFP is released is too late. You need to get ahead of the curve and start planning now.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
What are some of those key priorities that potential vendors need to be aware of?
Well, one of the bigger ones is the user experience. Remember, we're talking about a system that will be used by hundreds of thousands of federal employees.
Right.
The USDA wants to move away from that clunky, outdated system and create something that's intuitive, user-friendly, and actually makes people's lives easier.
It's like the difference between trying to navigate a website from the 90s versus using a sleek modern app on your phone.
Precisely. The USDA specifically mentions the need for a CX portal, which stands for Customer Experience Portal. This portal will be the central hub for employees to access all things HR related, from viewing their pay stubs and updating their personal information to enrolling in benefits and managing their time off.
So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all their HR needs.
Yes.
What will make this portal stand out from what they're using now?
Well, the USDA is emphasizing personalization and ease of use. They want employees to be able to easily find the information they need when they need it without having to jump through hoops or navigate a maze of menus.
It sounds like they're taking cues from the consumer world, where user experience is king. People are used to having things at their fingertips, and they expect the same level of convenience from their workplace technology.
Exactly. And it's not just about convenience.
Right.
The CX portal is also about empowering employees with information and tools to manage their careers and make informed decisions. Think about things like personalized career development recommendations, performance tracking tools, and access to learning resources.
It's about giving employees more control over their own career paths.
Precisely. And that's a key priority for the USDA. They want to create a culture of empowerment and engagement where employees feel valued and supported in their professional development.
So it's not just about replacing an old system with a new one. It's about fundamentally changing how the USDA approaches HR and interacts with its employees.
You hit the nail on the head. This is a massive cultural shift. And technology is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
But it's a critical piece. And the chosen vendor will need to demonstrate a deep understanding of the USDA's vision and how technology can enable this cultural transformation.
Okay, so user experience is a top priority. What else should potential vendors be focusing on?
Data is another huge one. The USDA recognizes that they're sitting on a gold mine of data.
Yeah.
Information about their workforce, their skills, their performance, their career aspirations, and they want to leverage this data to make smarter decisions, improve efficiency, and ultimately become a more strategic and data-driven organization.
Data is king in today's world, and it sounds like the USDA is waking up to its power.
Absolutely. They're specifically calling for the new system to incorporate advanced analytics capabilities. They want to be able to slice and dice the data, identify trends, spot potential problems before they arise, and ultimately make more informed decisions about everything from talent acquisition to workforce planning.
So it's about moving beyond just processing transactions and actually using data to gain insights and drive strategic decision-making.
Exactly. And this is where having the right partner becomes crucial. The chosen vendor will need to demonstrate not only technical expertise in building a robust and secure data management platform, but also a deep understanding of how to translate data into actionable insights.
It's about connecting the dots between the technology and the business needs.
Precisely. And that's something that companies like BidExecs can help with. They have experience working with government agencies on data analytics projects, and they can help potential vendors align their solutions with the USDA's specific data analytics goals.
So we've got user experience and data analytics as two key priorities. Any others that stand out?
Security, of course, is always paramount when you're dealing with sensitive government data. But beyond just meeting basic cybersecurity standards, the USDA is also looking for a vendor that can help them proactively mitigate risks and stay ahead of emerging threats.
The cyber landscape is constantly evolving.
It is.
So it's not enough to just set it and forget it. You need to be constantly vigilant and adaptable.
Exactly. And that's something that the chosen vendor will need to demonstrate, a commitment to ongoing security monitoring, threat intelligence, and continuous improvement.
It sounds like the USDA is taking a very holistic approach to this modernization effort. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the people, the data, the security, all the pieces that need to come together to create a truly successful system.
That's right. And that's why understanding the USDA's key priorities is so important for any company hoping to win this contract. It's not enough to just offer the latest and greatest technology.
Right.
You need to demonstrate a deep understanding of the USDA's needs and how your solution can help them achieve their ambitious goals for NFC Forward.
So to recap, user experience, data analytics, and proactive security are some of the key priorities that potential vendors need to keep in mind. But it's not just about checking boxes on a list. It's about understanding the why behind those priorities and crafting a solution that truly aligns with the USDA's vision.
Precisely. And that's where companies like BidExecs can provide invaluable support, helping vendors navigate the complexities of government procurement and develop a winning capture strategy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The importance of understanding the USDA's key priorities, the need for a user-centric approach, the power of data analytics, and the criticality of proactive security. But we're not done yet.
We are not.
In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into the specific technical and logistical challenges that the chosen vendor will face and explore how they can overcome these hurdles to successfully deliver on the USDA's ambitious vision for NFC Forward. Welcome back. We've been deep diving into the USDA's bold plan to revolutionize its HR and payroll systems with NFC Forward. It's clear they're aiming high. A better experience for employees, smarter use of data, and top-notch security. But let's be real, a project of this magnitude is bound to have some serious technical and logistical hurdles.
Absolutely. We're talking about a system that needs to seamlessly serve over 680,000 federal employees across 170 different agencies, each with its own unique needs, workflows, and data requirements. That's not a simple task.
It sounds a bit like trying to choreograph a dance with hundreds of thousands of dancers, all with their own styles and rhythms.
That's a great analogy. And just like with any complex choreography, success hinges on careful planning, coordination, and a deep understanding of each dancer's, or in this case, each agency's individual needs. The chosen vendor will need to be incredibly adaptable, able to tailor the system while maintaining a cohesive and integrated platform overall.
So it's a balancing act between meeting individual agency needs while ensuring everything works together smoothly. What are some of the specific technical challenges they'll need to address?
Well, one of the biggest is data migration. The USDA's current systems have been around for decades,
Right.
and they contain a vast amount of legacy data. It's not just about transferring files. It's about ensuring data
Yeah.
accuracy, completeness, and consistency as
Yeah.
it's mapped to the new system structure.
If we stick with the dance analogy, it's
Yeah.
like teaching all those dancers a brand new routine
Yeah,
while making sure they still remember their original steps.
exactly. And any missteps in this data migration process could have significant consequences,
Yeah.
impacting things like paychecks, benefits, and even retirement calculations.
Wow.
The chosen vendor will need a proven track record in handling complex data migrations, particularly in a government context where the margin for error is slim.
Data migration is one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but let's talk about another crucial element: security.
Yes.
How can they ensure that this new system is secure enough to handle such sensitive information?
Security is paramount, and the USDA is taking it very seriously. Remember the FedRAMP authorization we talked about earlier?
Uh-huh.
That's just the baseline. The chosen vendor will also need to implement robust security measures throughout the entire system lifecycle, from design and development to deployment and ongoing maintenance.
So it's not just about building a secure system.
Right.
It's about making sure it stays secure over time.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The vendor will need to demonstrate a commitment to continuous security monitoring,
Yeah.
threat intelligence, and incident response planning.
Okay.
They'll need to be proactive, anticipating and mitigating potential risks before they turn into breaches.
We've talked about data migration and security, but there's another big piece of the puzzle: change management. How do you get buy-in from hundreds of thousands of employees who are used to doing things a certain way?
That's a great point. You can have the most amazing system in the world, but if people don't know how to use it or understand its benefits, it's going to be a flop.
Right.
The USDA is placing a strong emphasis on training and communication throughout the entire implementation process.
It's about bringing people along on the journey, not
Yeah.
just dropping a new system in their laps.
Exactly. The chosen vendor will need to develop comprehensive training programs that are engaging, accessible, and tailored to the specific needs of different user groups. They'll also need to work closely with the USDA to communicate the benefits of the new system and address any concerns that employees may have.
So to sum it up, we've got some major technical and logistical challenges:
We do.
data migration, security, change management, all while keeping 170 different agencies happy. It sounds like the USDA has their work cut out for them.
It certainly does. But I believe they can achieve their vision if they choose the right partner, one with the technical expertise and commitment to collaboration to navigate these complexities successfully.
And that brings us back to the crucial role companies like BidExecs can play. They can help potential vendors understand these challenges, develop strategies to overcome them, and ultimately position themselves for success in this high-stakes competition.
Precisely. It's about understanding the USDA's needs, anticipating the challenges,
Right.
and presenting a solution that not only meets the technical requirements, but also addresses the human and organizational factors critical for success.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the USDA's ambitious goals to the potential challenges and the crucial role of strategic partners.
It's been a fascinating exploration of how the USDA is leveraging technology to transform its HR and payroll operations and create a better future for its employees.
This project has the potential to impact hundreds of thousands of federal employees, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on its progress.
And as always, we'll be here to break it all down for you, one deep dive at a time. Until next time, stay curious.